Ang hirap naman nun, let's say, even me, I'll get feedback from you, tapos ang dami. May listahan ka of 10 grievances against me.
Common din for smaller businesses, no? Merong kang star performer, magaling, etc. Pero very abrasive yung attitude niya. So, ano yung suggestion mo when they encounter that? How do you address, for example, nag-hire ka ng relative, everyone knows it, tapos medyo pangit yung performance?
Leadership entails making tough decisions.
Any last advice no, for leaders siguro na still having difficulty in terms of doing these courageous conversations?
What is riskier for you? Not speaking up or speaking up?
Hi everyone, this is Jerry Ilao, co-founder of Olern and Tarki, and welcome sa Olern Insights, where we distill business strategies and tech into bite-sized learning. I'm still with Miss Nikka Santos, leadership and team coach. No? Kanina pinag-usapan natin yung story ni Miss Nikka, and also we talk about mentoring versus coaching, and she gave great tips no, for entrepreneurs and leaders as well on how you can, kumbaga, exercise coaching for your employees. Now, pag-uusapan natin courageous conversations kasi sabi ko nga kanina no, in the previous video, I like this because I think ito yung many people, many new leaders especially struggle with this. Kumbaga, giving feedback. Sometimes we don't want to offend yung kausap natin, don't want them to be hurt. So, why is giving feedback ba tricky for us Filipinos?
My gosh, we've all been there. I've been there. For a certain generation, like I identify as I am Gen X. You're probably a millennial or
Gen X then.
A Gen X then. We were raised in a way na if you ask questions, even in the school system, right, you shouldn't rock the boat. And then, of course, if you want to dig deeper, hundreds of years of colonialism. So we tend to have a high power distance index.
Yes.
So, and not just with authority, even with people within our teams, we just always want to be nice. But we're the friendliest, most resilient, that's always celebrated, which is good, but it's a double-edged sword because sometimes being nice is actually not being kind. That doesn't necessarily follow. So it's just really how we were conditioned and raised. Although I think the younger generations of Filipinos, the Gen Zers, they tend to be more vocal, which I think is a good thing. So beyond, I think it's in our culture and Filipinos of a certain age, we're not very confrontational as a people.
Yeah, I also observed that no, parang hirap mag-provide ng feedback, especially if we are correcting someone no, na ginawa nila, etc. So, what is the right way ba of giving feedback, especially if you see na yung direct report mo is not performing well or nag-slide yung performance? Is there a right way to provide that feedback?
Well, actually, I can offer a tool. So, my favorite feedback tool is the SBI feedback tool. So that means situation, behavior, impact. When you talk to that person, prepare to be clear about what was the situation you were in. So in yesterday's team meeting, Jerry, the behavior I observed was you kept interrupting Win when he was trying to share an idea. And you were also a bit, in your tone, like you were getting impatient. And the impact on Win was, he started feeling, I could tell, I don't know if you noticed, he started being quiet. And actually, observing that made me uncomfortable. So, very clear. You just give the situation, the behavior, the impact. Hindi yung, Jerry, kahapon ang taray mo, grabe ka. Ang sungit mo. So, avoid character assassinations.
Okay.
You have to stick to the situation, the behavior, the impact. Because people, by nature, actually, even there are certain people, if they're very sensitive, you already gave it SBI. They still have a story in their head that, oh, I'm being called a jerk. You never even mentioned the word jerk, right? But yet, even if, ganun yung kausap mo, the kind and actually the responsible thing to do is to share the feedback, because your responsibility to that person is to make sure he is performing well. And of course, behavior is part of performing well.
Yeah.
And that people in your organization are not feeling uncomfortable, that they're working in a safe space. So that's something I can offer that you can do.
When should they do it? No? Is it right after they've observed that behavior?
Again, I fall back to my other advice around giving feedback na is coming from a place of love, your tone, right? Timing is key. So, ideally, sometime near when the event happened, but not right there and then. That's
okay.
Depends You have to read the situation. Maybe right after the meeting, because you notice the person didn't really notice it. But let's say that day, that person really was in a kind of state. Maybe may pinagdadaanan siya. Then maybe the next day.
Okay. So, titemplahin din.
Yeah. So that one, you will have to use your own discretion. Whether or not immediately after would work, or you have to give it a bit of space. But again, don't wait 6 months. And
or the annual performance review.
Exactly. Or parang they keep doing it, and then you'll tell him or her 6 months later, and then you have a litany, may listahan ka na. On this day, and So normally, don't let that laundry list be so long. Right? Ang hirap naman nun. Let's say, even me, I'll get feedback from you. Tapos, ang dami. May listahan ka of 10 grievances against me. Mas madali kong tanggapin kung isa lang. Diba? So, kaya nga din, important ang courageous conversations. That they happen regularly. Say what needs to be said as soon as you can, because you don't want it to pile up and then you'll end up erupting. I mean, that's happened to me before. I didn't want to rock the boat, so I keep I'll just let it be. And then after a while, my resentments to this one coworker, wala na, you're already raw. Because there's so many things I left unsaid. And then I'll explode. Then I become a bad guy pa because I exploded, di ba? So, yun.
Okay. And common din for smaller businesses, no? Meron kang star performer, magaling, etc. Pero very abrasive yung attitude niya. So, ano yung suggestion mo when they encounter that?
You have to fall back on really courageous conversations with that star performer. One thing I noticed, these star performers, because they're star performers, people have that attitude. Ganyan lang siya. That's his or her quirk. She or he is a star performer anyway, so let him or her get away with it.
Yes.
I've seen that a lot. Don't. I would suggest, or I think, in an ideal organization or in ideal teams, part of the performance is the person's behavior, how they communicate with others. Let that be a performance metric. So, hindi porke magaling siya makipag-usap sa client, ang taas ng sales niya.
Yes.
And then you will let him or her get away with because at some point that will bite your team in the A. It will impact other potential high performers, right? There are introverts that are really good sales performers, but if there is a abrasive person in the team, that introvert might cower, and then instead of having 2 great sales performers, you only have 1, and that one pa has an attitude problem. So, yun, don't let them get away with it.
Okay.
Parang it's so basic, no? But it's easier said than done. But you can tie that down to yung performance convos or yung regular one-on-ones. Kasi that's a good time to talk about it also.
Okay. Isa pa probably na courageous conversation that happens for smaller businesses. You know, when you're growing, you hire people in since parang isip, relative ko na lang, they want to help, etc. Pero how do you address, for example, nag-hire ka ng relative, everyone knows it, tapos medyo pangit yung performance?
Well, I think leadership entails making tough decisions. So yes, give your relatives a chance, but you have to actually probably even be more strict with relatives in terms of demanding that they follow standards.
Yeah.
Standards of behavior, standards of performance.
Walang special treatment.
So be intentional already. Okay, I am giving my relative this opportunity, but have a conversation with that relative and say, exactly because you're my relative, you have to prove yourself even more.
Yeah.
That's part of the situation that you have to accept, that you need to perform even better. Because people are going to say, you just got this job because of who you know.
Yeah, connections.
Yeah.
And I think yung isa din na common would be chismis, no? How do you have advice on how to shut down yung mga chismis that's affecting the morale of the team?
Well, if it's already affecting the morale, then you probably should call kind of like a town hall about it. And be brave enough to notice the elephant in the room, right? And of course, if it's not true, address it. And then have an SBI, like, team, this is the situation. These are the behaviors. There's been talk about this, and it's not true, and so is getting affected. That's the impact. So, i-SBI mo yung buong team. So again, it all boils down to having a courageous conversation, this time with everyone.
Yeah.
Right? So even the bystanders, you need to make them part of the situation, because chismis, gossip, that's not just the few people involved. That's everyone. And as a leader, that's your responsibility to make sure that the workplace culture is respectful.
Yeah.
Oo.
Yeah. Yun. Any last advice for leaders siguro na still having difficulty in terms of doing these courageous conversations?
Well, I would say look inside yourself. Why are you still struggling with this? What is riskier for you? Not speaking up or speaking up? Doon pa lang matatauhan ka na. And if you still struggle with it, maybe talk to a coach, right? Or talk to somebody in your team who can help you, or at least share that burden of opening up these conversations in your workplace, right? So
yeah, and siguro for those those leaders who want to improve their coaching, these courageous conversations, do you provide that service ba? Do you coach them on how to do this conversations with their employees?
Normally, in fact, the reason why courageous conversations is my favorite topic, my favorite workshop to design, is because I struggled with it myself. And I notice in the workplace, it's so prevalent. People aren't talking enough about what needs to be said. They're talking, but it's in the water cooler and not talking to the person that's concerned. Kumbaga, I personally think conflict is good in a team. It's good because that means there's diversity in thinking. The problem is when people turn conflict into chismis or into negative conflict.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think you need to honor conflict, but you have to have respectful, courageous conversations around it.
Okay.
So, and that hindi mo yan kaya alone. So normally, I coach leaders around this. Maybe they're grappling with something, and sometimes we go to their past, and that there's a voice in their head that they need to let go already, right? So I'm not a therapist. Coaching is not therapy, but it can be therapeutic. But sometimes we need to dip a little bit into the past, and then I put them back now to the present and say, so that voice, maybe that overly critical mother, or, the school system you were in, I mean, is that voice still something that helps you as a leader? And then I actually also say, in your head, that probably sounds like, oh, that sounds like Jerry's voice. But actually, that's not Jerry. That's your hypercritical mother. Or that's the strict school system. Is that really Jerry? Like, Jerry, do you really talk to your friends? Ang tanga-tanga mo. Or, oh my God, would you talk to a friend like that? No, right? So that means that's not your voice. That's something. So, yes, that is often something I tackle with leaders, and even high-performing leaders. They always have to kind of go back to what's going on inside me that I need to deal with so I can face this new challenge, right? Magaling ka na, but we can always go from good to great and great to greater. And it's in that constant learning and relearning that, that's what I love about being a coach. So parang, thank God, di ako naging psychiatrist kasi mas masaya pag-usapan yung potential. And it's so much, I get such a thrill to see my clients transform, and iba na yung pati yung aura ng mukha nila, because now they realize, oh my gosh, I just to take out that voice and just do it. I failed, but you know what? I'm still alive, and then we recalibrate. So you failed. So what's the adjustment? And then they do that adjustment and they succeed. And that's very empowering. So, and a lot of times the topic is around, they have to say something they need to say, or they're actually saying stuff to themselves that's not good for them.
Yes. Galing. For those that want to get in touch with you, where can they go?
Oh, I have a website, www.nikkasantos.com. So I hope
Very
you can
beautiful website.
provide a link.
Yes, we'll provide that link.
And I'm on LinkedIn, so Nikka Santos. So there, but my website, and I'm launching a blog soon where I'll talk about, it's going to be called The Leaders Lab. So these things we're talking about, we're going to tackle in that blog.
So make sure that you follow Nikka, and also if you want to get in touch with her for coaching, etc., learn more about courageous conversations, feel free to get in touch. We'll put the link below.
Nice.
So very insightful discussion on courageous conversations. We talk about different things that's actually happening in the business. Iba-ibang mga situations. In the next segment, we'll talk about multi-generational employees, handling Gen Zs or millennials, etc. So see you in the next video. Again, this is Jerry Ilao, co-founder of Olern and Tarki.